Something cool happened to me after the EFM weekend. I was in the Buffalo airport with Diego and my dad. We bumped into this guy. He is one of my favorite Nashville singer-songwriters.
These are the songs I won't forget. These are the places we grew up. And these are the people that I love. These are the days we'll talk about when we say those were the days.
And I got to hang out with him on the flight. And I found out that he's actually an EFM dude. He's self-employed, does all this really cool stuff. He offered up a question that he wanted us to answer. So
nice.
Today.
And he's got a voice like butter.
Like butter. Close to ours, but much better. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Entrepreneurial Family Man podcast. I am Chris Niemeyer, a couple octaves lower today, while being sick. Here with my good friends, Jamie Slingerland and Michael McGreevy. Chris McCluskey, we miss you. You are out of commission as well. We've had some sickness hitting this crew a little bit this week, but hey, man, you are here in spirit. But we are just four guys who are crazy about our wives. We love our kids, and we want to kill it in business. And this podcast is that safe place to talk about those important domains of life, knowing full well, being transparent. There are tensions when you are trying to live this EFM lifestyle. And so this is a place where you get to talk about those issues, deep dive. And today, as Jamie alluded to, we've got a special question. Jamie, you want to cue that up?
Yeah, when you were saying safe place, I was thinking, un lugar muy seguro. All right, so here's the question. Take it away, Mark. Off you go.
My name is Marc Sibilia, and my question would be juggling being married, juggling having a new kid, and then being at a point in my career where I've had good things happen, so I get opportunities, but I'm not at the point where I know for sure if all those opportunities will mean something. A lot of them don't have a dollar amount connected to them up front, say, but sometimes, there's large dollar amounts on the back end. It's just hard to know. So it's really, the question would be, how do you know what opportunities are worth stepping into when there are a lot of things coming your way? How do you know what to pass on? And it also kind of leads to the question, working towards what you're really on this planet to do, the thing that you are best at doing, that the world benefits from you doing it. So not just running after opportunities for dollar's sake, but running after things that really mean something.
Well, congratulations, Mark, because you're doing something right. Just the fact that all these opportunities are coming your way says that you're on the right track. And a lot of people want what you have to offer the world. So that's great news. And another cool thing that I'm hearing too is just the fact that you're exploring this question and asking yourself, how do I want to move forward intentionally, not just kind of float forward? Because I think we've all seen people who've asked that question way too late, right? When their life has run out of control and it's gotten away from them, and they've gotten so far from their original intention and values that it's almost too hard to get back to it. So I think Mark's in a good spot.
Yeah, I think he's in a great spot. And it gives us some good fodder for today's topic of 3 ways of balancing life and managing opportunities. Because he's at a great spot of, he's that typical, like, quote unquote, overnight success, right? It's only taken him 19 years or whatever to get to this overnight success. But now he's planted all those seeds in the past, and he's got these great opportunities in front of him. So how do you handle that, especially as a younger married guy as a young father?
The tension is real, but he's in a blessed spot where he gets opportunities to pick. I don't have to say yes to everything, and that is an awesome spot to be in as a EFM dude.
Absolutely, Jamie. It'd be nice to ask a couple of questions and get a couple answers and then have your decision. But when I explore in this way that I think Mark is exploring, it brings more questions and deeper questions. And I think what I would tell Mark is those deeper questions are worth asking and struggling through. I think that's what brings us to our first point is, what is your vision, Mark? How clear is your vision for what you want for yourself and for your wife and for your family? And if that's not clear, we've talked about this before a lot, this visioning thing, because it's pretty important. It's pretty important as a filter to use for a lot of different decisions that come up in life. And we've talked about this a lot before. Chris, what's the episode that we talked about this in?
Yeah, I wish you'd asked earlier. It's episode number 74.
You're like an encyclopedia for the EFM. I was actually thinking of the one about marry the mission and date the methods. That went along with this topic too, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point. And it is episode 74 on just the vision part. The marry the mission, date the methods is episode 88. And that's also a good one where we explore, like, what are the biggest values? How does that align with your vision? Because if you haven't done this first step, then you need to start there. But Michael, let's assume that he's done that. He's got a pretty clear vision of what he wants his life, his career, his family to look like. So if it's clear, then how do you navigate those opportunities?
Yeah, Michael, how do you do that?
Let me give you this quick little method. No, it's not a quick little method. I think you get everything out on the table. What are the opportunities that you're considering? And how do you even have some of your values and your vision right out in front of you on a piece of paper and start to think, okay, as I consider each one of these opportunities, let me ask these questions of, does this fit with the vision that I have for my life and my family moving forward? And run each one of these potential opportunities through that lens and see what comes up. Even if it's a conversation starter, things are going to come up where you start to see, oh, wow, that does not fit with where I want to go. Or, wow, that enhances my vision even. It even expands these hopes and dreams that we have for our family. So I would start there.
You know, Micers, Mark and I were actually talking about that thing on the flight from Buffalo to Nashville. And I was making the point that just in my own experience, certain opportunities I didn't even see until I made that overlap. If you don't know what you're going after, sometimes you don't see those opportunities. That's probably true for every entrepreneur, right? Those opportunities are always there, but we don't see them until we sort of pinpoint what we want.
Yeah. No, I think it's key to what both of you said is you have to have a list. You've got to have a vision, and written down is even stronger to go through that little process and make it a fun exercise where you've got your list in front of you and you do a little pros and cons, worksheet where you're like, okay, here's an opportunity. What's the positives here? What are the potential negatives? Right. I mean, I'm thinking I'm in his shoes. He's an amazing musician. He's got, tons and tons of downloads and all this other stuff. He probably has opportunities to hit the road, maybe the majority of the weeks of the year. Is that what he wants to do as an EFM guy? Probably not. And are there other opportunities that might be a little more creative that are options for him to be closer to home, closer to his family? I mean, there's going to be opportunities there that he's got to sift through in his own career and how that affects his family.
That is perfect for our second point, which is seeking wisdom. And through seeking wisdom from other people, it's just a really great place to even just get ideas that we never thought of. A lot of times with you guys, a lot of times I'm thinking like, what do I do? Option A or option B? And you guys start laughing and say, what about C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K? That's the power of living in community and having a band of brothers and just being around people that can speak into your life, that you get wisdom in ways you didn't even expect. It's not like, oh, what do you think about this decision that I'm making? You might get like ideas that you never even thought of. Mark has a young baby, and I don't know what he wants to do as far as traveling goes, but I just know that it's a lot harder when you have kids. Maybe there's opportunities that he hasn't even thought of because he's just in his own head. I mean, we were talking about Enneagram. If he's a 7, like me and McGreevy and McCluskey, we think things to death, especially under stress.
Totally.
It's called the amygdala. What is it called? The amygdala?
Yeah, the amygdala. And
I thought it was amygdala. It was like a person, like a lady.
Yeah, I'm even thinking like, the creativity that comes with connecting other people and sharing some of your opportunities with is pretty astounding. I'm even thinking of something right now. What if there was a way to travel? and I'm saying this is what you're wrestling with right now, Mark, but what if you had the funds to have somebody come with you and help care for your child? So as you and your wife spend time together, that you can have that space and you can make this like an amazing adventure for a season of life. These are just some of the ideas when you start to open your situation up to some other people you trust, who really care about you and really care about the direction that you're going and don't want to see you sabotage it or mess it up along the way. And man, we have that. We hash things out. We can barely record sometimes because we're just trying to get each other's perspective on what we're facing, right?
That's what happens when ideas start flowing. It's like, have you ever thought about this or that? What you said, Michael, what about traveling with your wife and having a nanny? I wouldn't like to do that, but this would be amazing if we could do this. And then new ideas come.
Yeah, no, that's important. It's an important point in terms of seeking wisdom from other people that maybe they're in the same situation as you, maybe not, but perhaps he is connected to people that have also had to navigate this in the music industry, being on the road, having some success. I mean, I'm actually thinking of a guy who I know, this guy who founded Cutlass. For the first several years, they lived on the road with their kids, and his wife was tagging along, and they literally were a band family. So, and Mark, I'll connect you with him if you want to, but just there's power in collaboration. There's power in having a band of brothers that knows you and is aware of your vision, because that's key in this whole point, is being transparent enough, vulnerable enough to share what your ideal situation is like, and then say, hey, here's some ideas and opportunities I have. They might shoot something down. I mean, when I come to these guys and say, hey, I've got this great idea, I'm going to open 5 franchise storefront locations.
Some idea. Don't do it.
Selling mittens in Florida, right?
That's right. I mean, come on. You might shoot that down for various reasons.
Or like when I was little, my dad used to read the series called The Hardy Boys. And the one brother, he opened a puppet repair shop. That was always the joke of the worst idea ever. It was Dumb and Dumber. He was like, I got this idea of an ant farm. Like, we're going to have a franchise where we sell ant farms. Michael, you're supposed to laugh at me here.
Well, it's worm farms. That's
worm farm.
It's been a while since you've seen it. But the point is, right, that knowing ants, worms, friends, the point is getting guys in your life, having that band of brothers to seek wisdom from. I mean, who's been down this road before that can help you out? And like Jamie said, practice his alphabet. Maybe there's something beyond, options B and C, and you just need other guys to give that perspective.
Sometimes I know I get so excited about an opportunity that I forget to actually think, okay, am I hitching my wagon to some people that I want to or would be good for me and my family? So that's another just word of caution is, as you consider opportunities, the people associated with them, are they of high integrity and high character? Because in a moment, when somebody has a lack of integrity, the whole thing can crumble and you can end up in a bad spot. So that's just another thing I would think about too.
Yeah, that's a good point, Michael. You've got to have that like-mindedness, right? Guys with a high degree of integrity in that situation. So that brings us to point number 3 in terms of ways to balance life and manage opportunities. And that is to make a decision together. Together with who? What do we mean by that?
Wifey.
Your wifey. Absolutely. And this is a key point, I think, for any EFM guy, that you have to be sharing and being vulnerable and sharing all the information and the opportunity, the excitement, the checks in your spirit. Like, are you on the same page with this? So let's explore that. Like, what does it look like to make a decision together?
Hey, I have a friend who's about to make a huge decision about purchasing a single-family home for their family. So I'm curious, how's the conversations with him and his wife going on that one?
That's a good question.
Oh, close to home. That's right. Well, hey, God willing, we'll be in contract when this episode airs. But yeah, man, that's like totally real life raw. I mean, we just made an offer on a big house yesterday, and there's a lot of question marks and loopholes and stuff to get through and around. But man, Alicia and I have had a pretty sweet time the last couple of days, just talking through and envisioning, boy, what could this do for our family? You know, we've talked about certain types of homes and acreage, and that's kind of a rare thing here in Florida. So we found a diamond in the rough, and we're pretty excited about it. But yeah, it's an ongoing conversation, man. Like, there are some things within me, because of the purchase price and some assets we got to move around and shift, that's going to have to be put on pause for a couple of years if we were going to do this. And just talking that out together and praying that out together has been super helpful.
A 3-strand cord is not easily broken. Man, when you come together with your wife and you're trying to hear God together, man, those are the moments when somehow the decision almost gets smaller, and the fact that you're in that space with your wife, praying together, seeking God, I mean, that strengthens a marriage so much. I felt so close to Lydia and so on the same page with her just because we're together doing that. And the decision maybe even seems less important than that sometimes because of what comes out of that. It's almost like a habit or a rhythm that you can build that adds just so much strength and wisdom and power to your relationship and to your life. So I love that you and Alicia are hashing that out and praying about it and figuring it out together. And you just know that like some good is going to come out of that no matter what the result is.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It's funny as we're talking about this and reflecting on our earlier points, I'm just thinking how this has progressed, and even so quickly in the last 48, 72 hours. I remember texting you guys going, guys, guess what's happening? Like, look at this property, and like just sharing the excitement with you and like getting some, quick feedback on it too. It's just like, this is part of this whole process is you're in real estate. You guys are all in real estate and been part of different options and opportunities. And it's like, here's an opportunity in front of us. It's a lot sooner than we anticipated. So how's this going to work? And then it's just led to some really rich conversation within our marriage of what it could make possible. So it's huge. Jamie, what about you when it comes to making decisions together as a couple? How has that looked for you and Ruthie?
There's been so many benefits for me just changing this mindset of kind of like the old world machismo guy being like, it's my business and my decision. And then just going to my wife with an open hand and saying, this is our life. This is our business. This is our family. Instead of saying mine and yours, it's ours and us's.
It's y'all's.
It's y'all's decision together, right? You guys,
we're beating you up a little bit. The message is awesome, and the wording is hilarious.
So what about you?
Yeah, that's what cut out there, Jamie.
We don't have Chris McCluskey reining us in.
So what about you? Today, we have explored 3 ways of balancing life and managing opportunities. Number 1, check your vision. Do you have a clear vision for your life, for your marriage, to help filter these opportunities? And number 2, seek wisdom. Do you have a band of brothers who you do life with, who you're transparent with and honest with? And then number 3, make a decision together. What do you need to talk about now with your spouse? With these opportunities in front of you, bring her in, invite her into that crucial conversation to move you, your future, and your family forward.
We'll talk about when we say those were the days I won't get over. These are the songs I won't forget. These are the places we grew up. These are the people that I love. These are the days. We'll talk about when we say those were the days. Yeah. We'll talk about when we say those were the days. These are the streets I'll walk forever, even if only in my mind. These are to the hands I hold so close. So if I may make one last toast, here's to the days. We'll talk about when we say those were the days. I won't get over. These are the songs I won't forget. These are the places we grew up. These are the people that I love. These are the days. We'll talk about when we say those were the days. Yeah. We'll talk about when we say those were the days. We'll talk about when we say those were the days that live on even after we're gone, and the places we go won't replace where we're from. So find someone you love and tell them these are the days. We'll talk about when we say those were the days.
Thank you for listening to the Entrepreneurial Family Man Podcast. Visit efmlife.com to connect with us and others like you who are pursuing success in enterprise, family, and marriage.